Late at night, the people of Umuagu heard a loud cry. It was strange, not like anything they had heard before. It sounded like someone was in pain and angry at the same time. The villagers woke up, scared. Mothers held their children close, and fathers peered outside their huts. The elders sat together and whispered to each other. They believed it was the cry of a witch, the one who had cursed their village long ago. When morning came, things got worse. The crops were dry, the goats were missing, and the people were afraid. They gathered in the village square, talking about what to do. "This is because we made the witch angry," shouted Nkem, a loud man who always liked to speak first. "Someone must stop her, or the whole village will suffer." The elders nodded but said nothing. They knew it was dangerous to face the witch. She was a young girl who lived alone in a small, broken hut on the edge of the village. Her parents had died when she was little, so she had to take care of herself. The villagers didn't like Chi. They said she brought bad luck. Some even called her a witch because strange things happened around her. She kept quiet when they said these things, but it hurt her feelings. That morning, children threw stones at her hut, laughing and calling her names. She sat outside, picking up the stones. She whispered to herself, "Why do they blame me for everything?" That night, she had a strange dream. She was in a big forest, and everything was quiet. Ahead of her was a bright light, and she walked toward it. When she reached the light, she saw figures glowing like stars. They spoke to her. Chi, one said, "The witch's curse is tied to you. Only you can stop it." She shook her head. "Me? I can't. I'm just a poor girl. How can I stop a witch?" The spirits replied, "You are stronger than you know. Your heart is pure, and only you can end this curse." Before Chi could ask more, the dream ended. She woke up, scared and confused. The next morning, the villagers held a meeting under the big tree. Everyone was worried about the curse. "We must send someone to face the witch," said Elder Okachuku. "But who will go?" No one spoke. They were all too scared. Then Kem shouted, "Send Chi. She's the one who brings bad luck. Let her fix it." The crowd agreed, even though some felt it was unfair. She stood quietly, her heart heavy. That night, she packed her small bag. She had a piece of bread, a little water, and her mother's old necklace. As she left her hut, she whispered, "If this is what I must do, then I will do it." The next day, she walked to the forest. The villagers stayed behind, watching her go. No one said goodbye or wished her luck. The forest was dark and quiet. The trees were tall, and their branches blocked the sunlight. She felt scared, but she kept walking. As she walked deeper, she thought she heard someone whispering her name. Chi. Chi, it sounded soft but scary. She stopped, but no one was there. She reached a place where the path split into two. One path went left, and the other went right. She stood there, unsure which way to go. Then, she heard a voice say, "Turn back. You will fail." She held her mother's necklace and said, "I will not fail." She chose the path to the right and kept going. Hours passed, and she felt tired. She saw a small open space in the forest and decided to rest there. In the middle was a big, strange tree with twisted branches. Suddenly, the ground shook, and a loud voice came from the shadows. "Why are you here, child of the village?" She froze. She was too scared to speak, but then she remembered what the spirits had said. She took a deep breath and answered, "I want to end the curse. I want to bring peace." The forest grew quiet. Then the voice said, "Your journey will be hard. Courage alone will not help you. You must learn the truth." Before she could ask what it meant, the ground stopped shaking, and everything was normal again. She picked up her bag and continued walking, feeling more determined than ever. She came to a river with dark, still water. It looked calm, but something about it felt wrong. The air was cold, and the sound of the forest had disappeared. She bent down to touch the water but quickly pulled back. It felt icy, and the touch sent a shiver through her body. Across the river, she could see a faint glow, like the light from her dream. She needed to cross, but there was no bridge or boat. As she looked around, she saw stepping stones leading across. She placed one foot on the first stone, then another on the second. The stones wobbled, but she kept going. Halfway across, she heard the same voice from before. "Do you trust yourself?" it asked. "Yes," she said, her voice steady. "I must." When she reached the other side of the river, the glow became brighter. She walked toward it, her heart beating fast. Soon, she saw what was glowing, a small, shiny object stuck in the ground. She picked it up and realized it was a silver pendant. It had strange markings on it that she didn't understand. Suddenly, the voice spoke again. This pendant belonged to the witch. She left it here as a reminder of her pain. Keep it safe, for it will guide you. She put the pendant around her neck. It felt warm, like it was alive. She looked up and saw the path ahead, now clearer than before. With the pendant and her mother's necklace, she felt a little stronger. She took a deep breath and walked on, ready for whatever was next. She followed the glowing pendant deeper into the forest until she reached the mouth of a dark cave. The air around it felt heavy, and the faint sound of whispers came from within. The pendant pulsed brighter, as if urging her forward. She hesitated, her heart pounding. She knew this place was important, but the fear of what lay ahead gripped her. Taking a deep breath, she stepped inside. The cave walls were damp and cold, and every step echoed ominously. As she ventured further, the whispers grew louder, becoming clear words that echoed around her. "She is one of us," they said. "She carries the curse in her blood." She gritted her teeth, clutching the pendant tightly. "I'm here to end this," she said aloud, her voice firm despite the trembling in her legs. Suddenly, the ground beneath her feet shook, and shadows began to form around her. They twisted and turned, their shapes barely human. One shadow stepped forward, larger than the rest. It towered over her, its eyes glowing red. "You cannot break what you do not understand," it said, its voice like thunder. "I will understand," she replied, her voice steady. "Show me the truth." The shadow hesitated, then reached out, touching her forehead. In an instant, she was surrounded by visions, Odysseus' life, her betrayal, and her pain. She saw the moment the village turned on Odysseus and the anguish she carried into the forest. The vision shifted, showing Odysseus' pact with the spirits. The curse wasn't just revenge, it was a way to protect her descendants from further harm. When the visions faded, she collapsed to the ground, tears streaming down her face. The shadow loomed over her once more. "You see now," it said. "The curse is her pain. To break it, you must carry her burden." She stood slowly, her legs shaking but her heart resolute. "I will," she said. "I will carry her burden and bring her peace." The shadows parted, and the path ahead became clear.